Hello, everybody. We are back streaming QSL, although we did miss game one. We are going on to game two here with the Kings Barons versus the Meow Lovers, and I'm joined by my lovely friend here, the one and only Kumi House 7. How we doing, sir?
Good, good. Hey, everyone. Should be an exciting set. Game one did go to the Meow Lovers, like you were saying, but game two, I think the Barons hopefully, have it in them to come back strong here. So let's hope for a good game.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, we're always looking for game three sets. It's always the most exciting. So hopefully, we can get a good game here, regardless win or lose, possibly get a game three. But we'll see what happens as we are in picks and bans here. And it's looking like there is a Geb Morgan Tiamat ban on the side of King's Barons, as last game, Shiro played Morgan and did a lot of damage and also played extremely well. So I'm not surprised about getting rid of that.
Yeah. You see on the other side we have Cthulhu, Odin, and Artio as well. They played the Cthulhu with the Morgan, the double Cthulhu ult. Surprisingly enough to see them ban it because the Morgan and the Cthulhu both came out that game really strong as in combo, but we see Cousin Eddie pick up Nike, and we see the other two still lock in on Milan.
Yeah, and I'm quite curious to see what these team comps will be. As last game, it was pretty based around the double Cthulhu ults with just the Morgan
I
and the normal
will
Cthulhu,
win peace
obviously,
by
as well as a
force.
set being played just to fully dive the back line. And it worked out pretty well for them as the Cthulhu soaks up all the damage, and set kind of was just free running around on their back line doing tons of damage. So um, we'll see how they play around it as a Kepri is picked up here. And I mean, what's your opinion on
Greetings,
Kepri being picked
friend.
up this early in the draft?
It's interesting. The Nike pick is huge, huge here. It's gonna. They need a lot of safeness, and in these team fights, that Nike brings that and the backline dive. But the Kepri makes sense. After seeing game one, the backline was getting dove pretty hard. I do like the Kepri pick. I don't know if I like it this early because you still got, but they have a Milan pick, so you still have Achilles, a potential support pick, and Thanatos. There it is
Yep,
coming through
there
from
it
Dummy
is.
Slick. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they went into knowing that they have a chance to get an execute picked against them, probably one execute picked against them. And with Kepri, you can kind of work through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So I mean, the Charybdis is picked up here, and the Charybdis with her 3, and her auto attacks being buffed from her initial 33% per triple burst was buffed to 40% per triple burst, so almost similar to how Izanami works with her 110% auto attack scaling on uh on her full cleave autos here. Charybdis I've been seeing played a lot more, especially in ranked nowadays with Death's Temper, just because it's a bit multiplicative and her autos hit extremely hard late game. So and not too surprised here, but I mean, I still think there are a couple better carries that could have been picked here, as the Soul and Sylvanas have also been banned. Um, what's your opinion on Soul right now, Boomy, in the state of the meta nowadays in the dual lane?
Let's just all bless up that Stonefowl somewhat got a nerf because that god and many other gods auto attacked mages have abused Stonefowl in this last 2 to 3 weeks. And if it wasn't something that was going to get fixed, it was something that was going to make a pretty good character at a time like right now even better. So I do like the soul ban because you never know what's coming out of mid, but I really like the Barons bans focusing out. They know this team is going to bring pressure, so they're taking away their first initial picks looking safe, and they're coming out with a comp that is safe, and they're not wanting to play a comp that is safe. They want them to overextend, it looks like, and that's what they're kind of looking for. Maybe that's what that Kepri pick was for. Maybe to bring the attention towards the Kepri to let the team do the work. So we do see Humbats and Discordia picked up, and they need CC. That's what they're going for. They're looking to lock
Yeah,
down these backline team fights.
yeah, for sure. And the Bacchus being hovered at the moment, and now turning into a Fenrir. So it looks like on the side of Meow lovers, okay, Bakasura support, but it's looking like out of the Meow lovers, they're just going all out aggression here. I mean, you have a Mulan and a Thanatos just for insane dive in the back line, as well as a Thoth being able to just poke out anybody that they want to. While you do have safer carries in Hachiman and Thoth, two carries that are, if you play them correctly, can be very hard to kill. Thoth with his extremely long dash through his hieroglyph mirror, and Hachiman with his escapability from his dash and his ult as well. So I'm seeing a bit of a decent combo here on the side of Meow lovers, and personally I'm liking their comp a bit more than the King's Barons at this point in time. So as Rapid Carnation has gone through 7 different picks and hovered them at the moment. So uh oh my god, okay, and we're back to Jing Chen, and he does lock into Jing
Yep.
Chen. So yeah, full dive
You're not
here.
going anywhere.
It's looking like full dive here just from the from the front line as well as the jungler, and and then you have Jing Chen who can really swing both ways, really good peel as well as really good aggression with just his blink ult being extremely potent, almost 99% of the time grabbing bees if they're up, and if they're not, most of the time people are usually dead.
Yeah, absolutely. The Meow Lovers are coming out with a strong comp. This is like what I was saying. You kind of expect this from them after game one if you did see it. Game one, they like the aggression. They like to be on the camps. They like to have that early lead. In game two, the comp was pretty fair back and forth, but the Barons are looking to play the safe comp into a more divey comp to see what happens here. If the Barons get late, I don't know what's going to happen for the Meow Lovers, but if the Meow Lovers here pull it out early, it's going to be dangerous because they know how to push a lead and they know how to work as a group here with their picks. They all felt comfortable except potentially Rapid Carnation with the 17 different picks. Um, you see all of them, ready to go on what pick they wanted to play for game two for the most part. So let's hope that Khepri can bring back the Barons in the backline this team fight for this game.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the game changer of this game is really going to be this Thanatos, as Thanatos with this execute just it does so much for his team. Like, everyone knows his early aggression and how
Absolutely.
he can pretty much kill anybody, levels 1 through 5. No issue. Doesn't matter who they are, what abilities you hit. It's extremely hard to outplay a Thanatos unless he misses his scythe, obviously. But late game he's really gonna make a difference here. So as long as he plays it right, I think he'll be a big issue. But you do have a lot of passive aggression here out of the side of King's Baron. With the Charybdis 3 can be used defensively and offensively, of course. Untargetable, free Aegis basically, free beads. You have the Khepri ult, of course, and you have Nike's ult, which is that annoying ass shield that everybody hates. So yeah, I think this Thanatos Sphere is really going to be the game breaker for Meow lovers and Barons, honestly.
Sure. The big thing to keep focus here is the Barons. Barons applying CC is gonna be is a key to what keeps them alive for fights. If they're able to apply CC to the Thana, or apply CC to the Thoth or Milan in these team fights, or even early ganks, it lets them go further in depth of the team fight and probably longer in lane. So that's what's going to be a big factor here is if Thana pops in lane, gets a kill, or if Thana pops in lane, gets CC'd and doesn't come out with anything. That's a big thing here as well, like you were saying. It's really how well can they shut the Thana out, and how well can they keep their lanes, down to the minimum of damage, if any at all.
Yeah, I agree with you there for sure, Boomy. And then, the two things that I'm looking at here that are actually a bit different are the Thanatos going Bumbas rather than the Mannequins, which most people seem to go, as well as the Khepri going Benevolence here. What are your opinions on those two item pickups rather than the usual starters?
New Benevolence, it's not bad. I've seen a lot of supports going it nowadays. I don't have any. I don't play a whole lot of support anymore. but I don't think it's a bad item at all. You know, it's good on Kepri. And speaking of Kepri, he is pulling the beads on the Hachiman that is still level 1. Great pressure from the duo. You know, they didn't concede anything there. So overall, though, I do think the Thana with the Boomba's Dagger is for the safe jungle side. If you're going mannequins, you're probably not going to walk into mid lane like this stat safe. You're probably coming in high. So maybe you see aggressive picks just naturally being played passive by Meow lovers. Looks like Duo is getting some poke right now.
Well, at the moment, I am at
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I got it. So in Duo, we see some poke thrown out by Disco on the Thana and the Thoth. In mid, apologies. And in Duo, it's pretty stale right now. We see Kepri and Charybdis taking up all the farm, much as they can get. Zombie Crusher and Solo has taken a little bit of poke, and we'll see how he's going to respond to not letting a level lead happen in the solo lane. Overall, though, it's a pretty fair matchup as of right now, but something might happen here in mid.
Alrighty, and we are back.
Alright, welcome back. Thoth Dash going down with the jungler coming in. Rush might have a pickup here. Rush throwing his 2. Oh, and Scythe coming in from Thana. No mana on the Rush. And it looks like they'll just probably pull away Stale in mid. Oh, Disco looking to try to sneak something.
That early? Pretty aggressive. Talking about here. I mean, that's too much.
Oh my.
Much capability early game, man.
Yeah. And there's the aggression from the Meow lovers. They get the pick in mid. The Disco, jumping into the fight instead of out was a little interesting here. But the Thoth getting the stun and the double hit on his 1 to get pressure for the red buff. And now the red buff has been conceded over towards Meow lovers. So that's 1 camp already stolen at 3:15. So let's see how they respond to that, getting their cooldown timers back. In Duo, it looks like Kepri and the Charybdis have a little bit of pressure, still taking away as much farm as they can. I do really like this Devos build that I've been seeing going on these ADCs a lot lately. Really works for the pen on these tanks, and I'd like to see how it turns out late game for this one. Poke, Kepri out of mana in Duo. We see mid Thoth being low and staying for another wave. We'll see how Disco responds. Does she clear wave? She does.
Alrighty, and we're back. My Discord decided to update itself mid casting here as the Thanatos comes out with his ultimate. Does miss on the Disco. Quite aggressive there from the Thanatos. I mean, as I was saying before, he is full Jotuns already, level 5. He just does so much damage already with the flat tank.
Yeah.
Just the power from the Jotun. Disco does miss the 1. Thanatos does aggress. He does miss the Scythe, as well as the Hunbat's coming over here. Golden Apple of Discord does come out onto the Thanatos. He's looking quite low, although Disco does miss again. And Thanatos Blink does come out, blinking into the jungle. And it's looking like he's just pinging as he does Scythe the camp over here. And it looks like it's coming a full rotation out from the solo lane. And the support as the Kepri goes in for the pull here, but does get silenced out of it. But the Nike is coming in to kill. Nike ult does come out here, and it's looking like Thanatos is super low, but the Thoth saves him, and he's trying to get away as the Kepri does pull the Thoth out.
Oh, and the Thoth getting his ult damage off.
Yeah, and oh my god, and it's looking like the Disco's gonna fall here, and even Nike's in trouble over here as well. And he falls as well. Wow, what a great rotation coming in from the Soul Lane, as well as Peel from the Thoth. And, Final Judgment, the Thoth's ultimate ability is just so much damage. The scaling on that as well as the base damage is extremely potent when fully charged. So, it's looking like they're gonna get this red buff here, and it's just Khepri being alive here in the mid lane as they do come all the way back in, and it's looking like the Mulan is caught out as he's grabbed by the Khepri, but the Jing Chen is still here, as well as the Thanatos hovering around, Hachiman rotating over along with the Charybdis. And it's looking kind of just like a stalemate a little bit here as the Thanatos does go in and aggress, and the Disco is sitting as she does hit her too, and Golden Apple of Discord does come out again as the Thanatos gets away 1 HP again for the second time in the last minute. Thanatos does go back in and does get the kill onto the Discordia here as Jing Chen ult does come out and peels them away.
A lot of early fighting when that red was coming up. Hold the thought real quick. We see Zombie potentially wanting something in middle. No, he's going to back out. Yeah, this early fighting is questionable, A lot of these fights took place with, mid-health or higher health HP bars and low mana. But we have Red Camp coming up, and they lost the first time on the first rotation. Hopefully, they needed to keep it safe, and they lost it the second time. They probably should have pulled out mid on that fight there, but they still pressured their way back in a little bit for some XP. They're down to 4-0, and let's see how they respond with the team comp that they're working with.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's all about getting the CC on that Thanatos there as the Nike's openly sees trouble. But Hanbats does rotate over. Out comes Fear No Evil, and the Mulan does fall. Thanatos gets away again with about a quarter of his HP left. I mean, like you said earlier, it's just getting the CC on his Thanatos, but I mean, he's just able to do infinitely with his sight.
Absolute great play by Dummy Slick to know his damage there. Rush taking down another kill. For them to give that kill to Rush is absolutely huge for the Barons. This is their chance to come back into this early game potential, but hold the thought, we see Disco with the ult, hitting the apple, killing Thoth right off the ult charge. So this is big plays by Barons, and we're seeing something happen. The Barons aren't just okay with this. They're responding, and like you said, the CC matters. CC is going to win games, the saying.
Yeah, I'm going to agree there. I mean, stopping the calling early game is the biggest way that they can control this game for sure. And it's looking like there's a slight lead there in the jungle as Humbats is 1 level up on the Thanatos, but it's still early and that lead can change really quickly, especially as teams start to group for gold and things like that. Although the gold teams haven't been touched yet, I'm assuming they will be done relatively soon here. We can take a quick look at the lead that have formed in lanes. Nike being down a level to the Mulan, Humbats being up a level, mid looking pretty even right now, but level disadvantage in the supports as well. And as you know, supports can really fall behind extremely easily if their lanes are losing respectively. So that support difference is pretty negligible at the moment. Pretty similar, but I mean, yeah, there's half a health bar. We'll see what happens. As the Jing Chen ult does come out, does grab the Hunbats, and Hunbats is looking in trouble here, but he does have the Khepri ult as he's tanking. Wow. And that is a great thought process there. It's looking like the Thanatos and the Mulan are ganking the Nike in the solo lane as she's being chased across at 1 HP and no mana. As Thoth does pick up a kill there in the dual lane, but the return kill out of the Charybdis does get him as Nike does not get away from the Thanatos. And like I said, it's still early and Thanatos life still does half your HP, so it can still change pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing for the Khepri save there. Like, Rush knowing he needs to die in that tower, but still being able to get the pick and come out alive was a great play by Rush. And giving Cousin Eddie that return kill isn't too bad, letting the duo be up. But we do see Zing come into the duo lane, and Charybdis is just going to walk away from it. But overall, I'm excited to see the difference between the Warning Sigil and the Warrior's Axe late game. I have a hot take between those two. I don't know which one I really like more. But I'm excited to see these two team comps go into the late game with Mulan on the Warrior's Axe.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with you there. And you know, the one thing I am quite surprised about is Nike going straight into Mystical rather than grabbing a Blackthorn, as it seems like the meta is just always to go Blackthorn Mystical. So I'm not entirely sure what the game plan is there, because Nike abilities do scale relatively well with power, and you know, her going that warding sigil. Eventually, I'm assuming going into Infused Sigil, which does give you 35 power, along with the 40 power from Blackthorn, which most people typically go. You know, she does a ton of damage, but now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, and it's the mana thing too. With Warding Sigil, it doesn't give mana.
Let's look at the Hung Bats here,
And
aggressing onto the Thoth as he does beads, but Thanatos is up in the air looking for an ultimate as he's Khepri ulted to safety.
wow, just absolutely
Wow, so the
insane.
execute did not end up going off, as Huntsbats does reaggress onto this Thanatos, does get silenced out of his 2, jumps, but he will fall to the disco as the Jing Chen ult does come out, but only grabs the Khepri, unfortunately. And, you know, the Jing's looking a bit out of position, but, you know, he does so much, he has so much HP and HP 5, I'm not sure they're going to be able to kill him, and they do not, as it's looking like a disengage here from the Barons. So that's a great pick from them.
That is like insane that all around. The Humbats ult, feared straight down on the Thana ult, coming down with a Khepri save. I mean, there was literally nothing they could do better. But now looking at their looking for gold, and there's gonna be some fighting here.
Yeah, and it's looking like it as well. But it's looking like somewhat of a disengage on the side of Meow Lovers here, as Kingsbear.
All right. Well, Adzy's Discord just removed him. Oh, he's back. All right, Adzy, take it away.
A bit my internet situation. I don't know why this is happening, unfortunately. But I think my Discord is being mean. But yeah. I mean, if we look at the Goldie here, it's almost, you know, negligible on the side of Meow Lovers, with Meow Lovers having around a 400 Goldie to Thanatos. Air is pressing on the Hunbat. Hunbat does beads, but we'll get away. Golden Apple of Discord does come out, but it will miss. And, you know, a blink in from the Nike off the away, but it's looking like Rapid Carnation's in trouble here. On a very low HP, as Cousin Eddie does come in with a duo and will pick up the kill, which is quite huge in my
Mhm.
getting that Charybdis, you know, as massive as you can, as early as you can, is going to be the main player here, as a beautiful gold theory. And, you know, the Nike going to zone, obviously, and their play. That costs you an extremely dangerous god to play against, especially when trying to out-secure it, as Disco does not have any real true secure compared to a Thoth. But, you know, they did a great job there, pulled gold, so, you know, that gold lead will extend a little bit here for Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they did what they wanted to there. You could tell in comms that they were like, Nike meet me mid, you know, Cousin Eddie meet me mid. We'll get a pick, and then we're going straight to gold. This is our gold. And that's how they got to respond against this, you know? The only way to shut this thing out is still getting these objectives and still applying their CC. And with these Khepri saves and the Humbat's ult, they're looking to not let anything free go for them.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, though, is that I'm really noticing the level difference in the soul
Oh,
lane at the
it's
moment.
huge. Absolutely.
A level 10 versus a level 14. It's probably pretty evident due to Zombie Crusher rotating out quite a lot compared to ZK kind of staying in lane and really farming his way up. So I really think they need to kill this Mulan here and shut him
Mhm.
down to you know, prevent him from snowballing, because as we all know, Mulan, after Mulan's buff, Mulan just does a lot of damage. And it's pretty hard to get away from that. As they look to pull Pyro here, and it looks like they will secure it. As they do secure it and look to somewhat engage here as well, but you know, the Khepri ult does come out, but Khepri accidentally ults himself. As the Jing Chen ult does come out, Mulan in the backline looking for the Charybdis, but it's looking like they're still engaging up in front as the Thanatos is quite low. Hachi splitting left lane. Zombie Crusher does pick up a kill here on the Thanatos, but Cousin Eddie in trouble in the back as Aegis comes out. The Mulan ult as well. Cousin Eddie coming away with 1 HP, but Mulan will fall to Golden Apple of Discord here. And, you know, a 2-for-1 here after getting Pyro. That's another one in the favor of the Barons. The gold lead does extend to you know, a little bit over 300 rather than being even. Hachi is looking for the red buff here on the left side, and they do secure it. But overall, still a win in the favor of the Barons.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Hachi not rotating into that or taking down this T2. But it was a big fight for Charybdis, so I don't think Charybdis lost any levels for the most part. So yeah, actually Charybdis is pulling out a lead here and giving Zombie Crusher that fight and that chance to, farm. That's pretty big right now. They get the Pyro, they get the gold, they get 2 picks. They maybe lose a T1, almost a T2. But they traded out what they needed to get back, and that's what's important is the Barons are realizing that. Now the
Mm.
Meow lovers' focus is they need to stop this Disco or stop this Khepri from being able to be such a nuisance for their backline because you dive their backline and you're getting CC applied. So we have to see what their Meow lovers plan of attack is to take home this victory.
Yeah, I mean, and it's looking like the two focus targets here for each team are going to be or possibly the Charybdis as well as the Khepri for the side of Meow lovers, and uh, and for TK Barons, I mean, they still are probably going to want to focus this Thanatos and Thoth, just to try and shut them down. As Fear No Evil does pop out, Book of the Dead proc does happen, as well as the Aegis, but Jing Channel does peel them away, as the Thoth will get away with his dash, but it's looking like a rotation from the Nike, and he does go into the Thoth, his Final Judgment being procced and fired, but the Nike will pick up the kill, and Nike has closed that level gap with the Mulan, as he's only 1 level down from the earlier 4, which is, quite amazing in my opinion to, catch up, 3 levels in the span of 4 minutes or so. So, a great job on the side of the Barons to try and, catch him back up as well as getting picks repeatedly.
Yeah. What I'm watching right now is who can get to the fight first and who can get into the backline first. It's very key there that Zombie beat her to lane, beat him on top of the Thoth, and it took home the kill. But we got to see what this Thana's going to do on these camps. She's stealing a lot of camps. This Thana's making the damage happen in the farm game. So we'll see how they respond to losing levels through farm, not through kills.
Yeah, and it's looking like they're trying to chase down this Thana and Jing Chen here, but it's looking like they're just going to target the Jing Chen, as the Thanatos is pretty hard to lock down with his slow immunity, speed, as well as his ult, as the horrific emblem does get popped here, and the Thanatos will slow immune it and seems to be getting away here, as it's looking like the Thoth will show up to provide support. Disco getting quite low here. And it's looking like just a disengage here. Targeting this Thanatos is probably going to be, is still going to be the main key, even into the late game, as his damage does start to fall off. But just having his execute is, a huge boon for the enemy team.
Yeah, absolutely. And Thoth now being online with Book of the Dead and Book of Thoth stacked. You can see a lot more secure coming through the Thoth and a lot more poke coming in harder. And the survivability from the backline dive, we'll see how they respond to it.
Yeah, as the Meow lovers do pick up the gold fury here, evening up the gold differential again for the 4th time this game, as the lead has been passed back and forth repeatedly. But I mean, Milan just stole a speed buff, I think, and it's looking like a little bit of disorganization on the side of the Barons. It looks like they really don't know where anybody is. At all at the moment. They're slowly checking in mid, but you never want to play a poke game with a Thoth. So
No.
I mean, it's slowly tipping in the favor of the Meow lovers in terms of farm, as it's extended their lead to around 1,000 gold. So I think Barons really need to pick it up here if they don't want to just slowly lose out in this late game.
Yeah, I mean, Barons game 1 lost to camps. Their own camps getting stolen. Oh, and Milan is getting pulled in by Khepri. The shield from Nike coming out. Looks like they're just going to disengage here. Like I was saying, though, the back camps are very important. Their buffs are very important. And they just need to acknowledge that if they put some wards on them, that might help them, because this is a very big opportunity to come back for them, the Meow lovers, to come back into this game. And as you can see, they're on those timers, and their timers cooldowns are very well.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there, and I mean, and just having that Thanatos, all the way up until like level 12 to 14, I mean, he still does a ton of damage, so he has a lot of aggression on those camps, and it seems like he spent most of the time in the Baron's jungle, unlike this Hunbats, unfortunately, who does need time to come online. But it's looking like this game will start to even out in a second in terms of damage. So, you know, as these team fights get in later, you know, taking out that Than a bit early does save your team a lot of struggling, as Zombie Crusher looking kind of low here, and Sentinel of Zeus will pop out. As the Jing Chen ult does grab the Nike, and the Nike looking extremely low here, and execute threshold as well with the Thorns. Thanatos does get the execute, but he is in the back line, as it looks like it's a full commit here from the side of Meow Lovers to try and force him out to pull this Fire Giant. Disco Aegis as well, and it's looking like the Hunbat is quite low, as the Charybdis does get picked off through the wall, does pick off the Hunbat. Golden Apple of Discord does come out, but the Khepri accidentally ults himself again for the second time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, they fell down in the farm game, and then they've won some fights, but those fights haven't compensated for the farm. And so their goal here is going to be able to do what they were early, I guess you could say, in the team fights, but also bring back their farm. And then this chance at level, you know, level 20s, it might go their way for them.
Yeah, as Meow Lovers does secure the Fire Giant here, and they're looking to secure this Pyro, which they will, as it is completely uncontested by the Barons, as the game freezes. Oh, okay, it is a pause. Yeah, so I mean, you know, everyone knows, at least nowadays, you know, the invades and everything like that, you know, reduced XP, reduced gold, yada yada yada, stuff like that. But you know, as this game got, went further on, obviously the camps become equal worth on both sides of the map, and Meow Lovers really took advantage of that. You know, right around like the 15-minute mark, which is where they hit max XP. So, you know, not securing those camps really costed the Barons a lot here, and that lead has grown from around 1,000 gold from, you know, 4 minutes ago to 6,000 gold. So, I mean, you know, they're going to have to work really hard to catch back up into this game.
Yeah, and also Mulan having the opportunity to go straight into this Sundering Axe so soon before the Nike can get that upgraded ward thing, fusing ward, whatever it's called. Yeah, infused sigil. It's going to be detrimental to the team fight, and they absolutely need to grind their farm right now.
Yeah, I mean, and Mulan is huge at the moment. I mean, she's just picking up that Sundering Axe now, and she's full 5 items, has her last item to go, has her starter upgraded. I mean, she's 0-2 with 6 assists, but she's been farming. So, I mean, she's just gigantic at the moment, and I don't think anyone on the side of Barons can really kill her. Not even the Charybdis, who has Deathbringer online at this point. I just feel like she's too large, does way too much damage, and, you know, just with her full kit, rounding it off with that Cridwin as well, it just gives her so much survivability.
They absolutely need to set up for the defense here and get ready for some potential, you know, sieging.
Yeah, and it's looking like a soft defense on this T2 here, just trying to poke out some damage. But it looks like, yeah, they will secure it quite quickly. And the Jing Chen ult does come out as the Khepri does dash away. Not sure how to feel about that, but you know, the Jing Chen down. But you know, all ults up for everyone else on the map at this point in time. So you know, anything can happen in this next team fight.
Yeah, those cooldowns on Zing's ult's gonna be right back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, especially I mean, he has, I guess, T1 Cridwin at this point, so he does have a little bit of cooldown on the ults. But it's looking like this Mulan is just sitting here waiting. They're just waiting to take this T2, and he does go in here, and he does go onto the Discordia. Spirit Removal does come out to peel. He does feed. Mulan looking kind of low as the Bulwark is popping. He's getting absolutely shredded here. And he does get killed by the Maw. And it's looking like the Thanatos is extremely low here out on the left side of the jungle. And the Discord is here as he does blink onto the Disco, but the Disco does have Book of the Dead. And it's going to make it extremely hard for her to kill him. As the Khepri does fall to the Hachiman, and it's looking like this Thanatos is still looking for the aggression, does take a tower shot to try and hit the Scythe, but will live as this Thoth is really aggressing here as he dashes in. And the Madness does hit, and the Disco does fall to the Nike here. And it's looking like the Charybdis is trying to 1v1 this Hachiman, and I'm not sure how this is going to go, but he does 3 away. And the Jing Chen ult does come out again onto the Nike all the way in the back. And the Hachi is still there. And it's looking like you know, it's looking like a disengage here completely. What was it? A two for one on in favor of the Barons. So, you know, I guess it's a good pickup for them, but this gold lead is still ever climbing. Now 7,000 gold in the favor of Meow Lovers.
What's important here is that they're defending 4 level as well. They're able to defend and grab those levels back through the last couple picks.
Yep.
And so hopefully with a little bit of pickup and farm here, they don't get FG or EFG potentially, and they can come back in a fight. What's really big is going to need to happen is they get 2 picks near the back line, and we see some siege come through the Barons. And once that happens for them, this game turns around. But until then, Meow Lovers is just going to pressure. Let the Milan dive. Once the Milan dives, Thana's going to be in the air, and Thana's in the air, it's going to be over. But the Meow Lovers just grabbing gold for another gold extension lead.
Yeah, and it's up to 9,000 now at the moment at 26 minutes. So, I mean, at this point in time, it's when everything starts to plateau as, you have 3 on the side of Meow Lovers being 20 already, and with a 4th being quite soon here as he hits 20. And, all of them all have their starters, excluding the Jing Chen, which probably will pick up his starter quite soon here after this Pridwin is finished. But, you only have 1 level 20 on the side of the Barons. So, as they all start to round out 20, as the Mulan is looking to get ganged up on here by everybody, as Fear No Evil does come out, and it looks like he will get picked here.
Wow.
And that is a huge pick for the
Huge,
absolutely.
absolutely.
This FG has just spawned.
Yeah, and there's going to be some fights around it, so by the time they actually pick this up, we might see an EFG come out for the Barons if they can push forth this lead.
Yeah, although, I mean, I still would say you need to full dive this Thoth if you want to even have a chance at securing
Absolutely.
FG. Final Judgment,
And that's what they do.
And they are going hard in on the Thoth and chasing him. His Golden Apple of Discord does come out onto the Jing Chen. Jing Chen also as well coming out as the Hunbats does dive the backline onto the Hachi. Thanatos does go up in the air looking for a possible double execute. Misses both. And it looks like he is going to pick up the kill onto Cousin Eddie. And Pavs will fall to the Thoth as well. And this is an insane reversal from the side of Meow Lovers as they had just turned a 4v5 into a 4v3.
Yeah, they did everything right there.
It's looking like this disco is, going the wrong way, unfortunately. It's getting chased down by the Jing Chen. And it looks like the Thoth and the Thanatos will rotate back around as Thanatos does pick up the kill onto the Hunbats, unfortunately. Looks like Disco will get her back off. And it turns into a 5v2, 5v2 in favor of Meow Lovers. Looks like it's only Zombie Crusher here to contest this FG. And personally, Kumi, I wouldn't even contest this FG at this point, but just because Fire Giant, I feel like, can be ignored until EFG. But it's looking like this Nike is still going to be going hard in, trying to force his Hachiman off. And he is going to go in as Sentinel just does get popped out, but Meow Lovers will secure it. And the Disco does fall on the backline to the Thanatos, as the Thanatos ult does come in onto the Nike, but he is Kepri ulted. So it looks like he will get out alive. As quite a close call for the Meow Lovers, as they really let that Nike do whatever he wanted. So, good job by them for securing the FG, but it was quite close.
What's very unfortunate is the Thana getting a pick on Mark X-Wings, putting him down for 30 seconds, but it doesn't seem like they're going to have enough time to siege by why he's down, so it's okay. He's going to be back up with his team. But they really got to focus on, keeping that Thana dive wake him out of there. They got away with the double execute not being hit. If that's hit, we're looking more like it's game. So you gotta see how they respond to this Thana and Milan dive for sure. And then just on top of it is the Thoth poke, like you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna agree with that. I mean, Thoth being such a great pick into securing objectives as well as just starting team fights. As a team fight, it looks like it will be an engage here from the Mulan as Mulan goes hard in. It looks like they will hard disengage here, but it's looking like it's going to be not even a contest for this T2 here, as the T2 will fall. But it might be quite difficult for Meow Lovers to siege any Phoenix here, as, all ults up, except for the Khepri ult on the side of Barons. But, you know, they do all have all ults on the side of Meow Lovers. And it looks like they will step into this Phoenix and will slowly wear it away. As the Jing Chen ult does not come out yet. As Zombie Crusher goes way into the backline. Thanatos gets away with Hover of Death. Golden Apple of Discord does not miss, but the Hachiman does die in the backline. And the Thanatos is running around in the Titan area as the Disco does pick up the kill on the Thanatos. And the Nike is still wreaking havoc in the back, but the Hunbats does get picked off by the Thoth. And, it's looking pretty even right about now. But it looks like
it's a 3v3 on the Phoenix Siege.
It's looked like they will continue to go in, but the Khepri does ult himself again, and I'm assuming just for the movement speed to try and get in front of those autos. And the Mulan is still just running around in the back, healing from that Sundering Axe and doing a ton of damage to the Discordia. Discordia does try to run away as fast as she can. Great Khepri route for the peel and a grab as well, but it's looking like Zombie Crusher is looking quite low here. And the Mulan is still full aggressing as the Jing Chen tanks. And grab this
absolutely. That Thoth poke just is gonna take a toll when you have two insane big tanks in front of them. But they only got away with one Phoenix, you know. It could have been worse. How you see Rush positioning here in these team fights, though, is he's positioning to dive with the Nike. If Disco can combo enough on the Thana, and Thana missing an ability, I think they could pull away a good team fight. They just got to coordinate it a little bit better here, and they could pull it away.
Yeah, I think one of the main things here is that the Khepri is a little bit scared to use his ultimate on the Disco or anyone else, as the Thanatos can kind of just eat right through it with no issue. And that's why I think I've been seeing him ult himself for a little bit of movement speed to try and get to his carries. But, I'm not sure if that's the best play here, is probably holding the Khepri ult to maybe save one of your divers in the backline would be the better play.
Yeah, absolutely. Cousin Eddie, though, picking up a Dom. And with that much pen into crit, you can see Cousin Eddie pull out some big damages on these tanks. We just got to see how he can live through the Thana dive.
Yeah, and it's looking like the Jing Chen here did not pick up a Spectral, so it's looking like he's going to be a prime target for this Charybdis to absolutely melt. He should be, wrecking him at this point, especially with this Death's Temper possibly coming online here for his last item. But on the side of TK Barons, most of them have, two of them have their starters upgraded, while on the side of Meow Lovers, pretty much everybody has had their starter for quite a long time, excluding the Jing Chen, of course. And, once they finally get those starters online, I feel like it's going to make a pretty large difference in the way they play, as Nike does pick up the Infused Sigil here to help herself out diving the backline. So hopefully that can possibly help her diving that Thoth, as it looks like just Meow Lovers are just, forcing as many waves up as possible to try and put pressure on the Barons here.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see if the Disco goes into an alternate timeline.
Yeah, I am as well. And honestly, I wouldn't be that surprised, but I think she just wants the 40% cooldown. I feel like it's going to be way more important here, as, her 3 already gives her extreme cooldowns. But just having her dash up and having that Golden Apple of Discord up is just going to have a ton of damage for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's looking like, so, just some scattered fights here and there.
That picking up EFG.
Yeah, they are pulling it already, and it's looking like this possibly could be a bait, as you have the Thanatos tracking this Hunbats in the back here, and it's looking like Hunbats is quite low, 1 HP. Will dodge the Thana ult, but he's looking extremely low here, as the Nike is also low, as the Khepri ult does come out, and we'll save the Hunbats. Does get a pick onto the Thanatos here. That's a lot of backline dive, but Cousin Eddie is left by himself and will get picked off by the Hachi, as the Mulan is still running around in the backline, as Fear No Evil does come out, will get a pick onto the Jing Chen. Golden Apple Discord coming out and not hitting anybody in all those ricochets, as the Aegis and the Book of the Dead proc coming out from the Disco as well. And, you have the Thoth dashing out per usual, and the Khepri just trying to peel, as the Nike does jump into them here. But this Thoth damage just coming out is unbelievable. It's
and Rush gonna get on the back line.
And he does.
And he does take a pick with the low.
Yeah, he will trade, and the Thoth is looking extremely low here. Zombie Crusher does kill the Thoth here, and it's looking like the Mulan is extremely close to dying. Being half HP, but the Khepri also being chased by this Mulan, as Zombie Crusher is relatively low, but this Disco is gonna have to hit abilities if he wants to kill him. And the Khepri does end up falling here, which is quite unfortunate for the side of the Barons, as this Mulan is just absolutely wreaking havoc on the Nike and the Disco here.
Luckily, Cousin Eddie's coming up in time to clear those left minions, but the Phoenix just goes back down to it.
Yeah, unfortunately. But this Mulan over here is 1v2ing the solo laner and the mid laner, which is quite unbelievable in my opinion. And you know, Mulan being now meta at this point. I mean, so far her worth has been more than this Nike in this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, Nike did pick up some big kills, and Infused Sigil actually like annihilated the Thana on that fight. I saw it blow up, and it just like took Thana's health bar away.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. But I mean, we take a look over on the bottom left here. We look at this net worth,
Oh,
and you
for
know,
sure.
obviously this net worth isn't as important as it was, 5, 6 minutes ago. But you know, on the side of Meow Lovers, they will be upgrading those relics much earlier than the side of Barons, as well as possibly picking up, that red pot and even into 3K pots, as they do look to pull EFG here. And, Barons aren't grouped. You have the Charybdis on the other side of the map, who is now rotating over. But it's looking like the Meow Lovers have total control of this FG area, as FG is looking extremely low here. As the Nike does blink in, and Meow Lovers do secure EFG, even in the face of Fear No Evil and Nike ult. And the Thanatos will pick up a kill onto the Hunbats here, as the Khepri is chasing down this Mulan, as it is a full retreat on the side of the Barons. And it's looking like, as Thanatos does go in and absolutely one-shot the Discordia, as the Khepri ults himself, and he will live, but it's looking like the Charybdis, will fall here, as well as the Khepri, and it's just the Nike left by himself, as the Mantle of Discord does proc and does stun for them, but he's not going to get away from it. And it's looking like this is game in favor of the Meow Lovers.
Yeah, I mean, nice try by the Barons. They needed to be a little bit more grouped for that fire, but overall, you can, second game, looking a lot better than first game, and this is Barons are a dominating team, and the Meow Lovers are a really good team too. I think the Barons will come back stronger from this loss, absolutely. And the Meow Lovers, great win, great win. Dummy Slick just absolutely doing different things in the jungle.
Yeah, and like we talked about before, it's just that the Meow Lovers had unbelievable control of the jungle right around the 15-minute mark, which allowed them to snowball that lead into the late game. Securing red buff, securing purple buff, taking back camps on cooldown. I just feel like the Barons totally underestimated the worth of these back camps here, and kind of gave them up a little bit too easily here without much resistance. So that's definitely something that they should work on. But the Meow Lovers really ran that game towards the late game here, and like we talked about before, that Thanatos making an unbelievable difference with the amount of power he has. And take a look at the player damage here. Is yeah, that Thoth almost 40,000 player damage. As well as the Mulan just absolutely wreaking havoc. 62 mitigated and 30,000 player damage coming out of him. Um, you know, quite equal to the Nike, though. I will say the Nike did do a lot of damage and mitigated a lot late game, so I will give credit where it's due. But um, you know, just need a little bit more out of the jungler on the side of the Barons. And just don't underestimate the worth of those back camps.
For sure, for sure. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, so we will be recasting the game one, as we did spectate it, but we will be recasting it. So stay tuned for that, and we're gonna go into a short intermission. Thank you, guys. Hello, everybody, and we are back with a interview from Gumbo, otherwise known as ZKDM. He played on console, you know,
Okay,
like
wait.
a
I play
like
MK.
a scrub, like a scrub.
Play
But
MK.
it's fine. Uh, how you doing, Gumbo?
I'm doing good.
Doing good. How do you guys? How'd you feel about that set right there? You guys look pretty strong all the way around. So I just want to know hear your thoughts on it.
Look, man, Archer's such a troll. Archer's dashing to his fall for level 10.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, he didn't die, so.
Hey, he did. I'd read when he dashing
Well,
that red run.
alright, I mean, he died, like, maybe, like, 50% of the time, but, like, that's besides the point.
Yeah. Archer Inton, usual.
Yeah, pretty usual, but he did do a ton of damage, I will say that. 39,000 player damage. So, I mean, I feel like he was a pretty big part of your game. I don't know, would you agree with me there?
Yeah. Archer
Yeah,
was getting in there.
he was getting in there for sure. It's just a couple questions for you, when do you think that turning point of, that game 2 was, in your personal opinion? Because it seemed like towards the end there, you guys kinda started to really snowball and
Yeah.
get online.
When we grouped up and stopped doing it ourselves, we kind of just grouped up, stopped Inton.
When you
Because
go was there a
we played,
specific point or a specific kill or play
after they got gold.
after they got gold?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
around, like, 14 yeah, like, right around
Yeah.
15 minutes, which was
Yeah.
when,
After they got gold entirely around there. Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah, I mean, when I was casting that before, we were talking about how, the Thanatos, Dummy Slick was, constantly in the jungle just taking camps on cooldown, so
Yeah. That moved really good.
I would definitely say that was a big part of your success. But how did you feel your game two went to game one? Although we didn't cast it, I did watch the game one, so I have a decent idea of how it went. But you think things were smoother, less smooth, or
Game two was definitely a lot worse than our game one. Our game one really wasn't really close, except for that one fight at Red Buff where they picked me and Archer.
And what do you think the issue was in that second game that was really stopping you guys from rolling through like that first game?
Prompt was a lot more late game, and we played really like early game. Like I don't know, Donlin is new to AC, so like he can really play late phase. So like he never he don't want the only guy. But like Dumpy was trying to get way too active on the Red Buff when
Mhm.
Archer the late game god. Rapid getting used to Jinxin, so he didn't know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah,
We
we were watching a couple questionable Jing channels,
yeah.
uh, while we were casting. So Kumi and I were laughing quite a bit. And then how do you feel this goes for the rest of your season here? Like, you guys, I guess you guys should like, really take this in stride here. But do you guys think you'll continue to perform as well as you did?
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
Yeah. The only thing I'm really worried about is Frost Foxes.
Frost Foxes, and why is that?
Giannis.
Just Giannis?
Yeah, I Josh, but mostly just Giannis and Josh.
It's fine. You can just bank a bracket, and Giannis can't do anything.
Being the low key Ben the Cabrakan.
I love you, Giannis. All right, and no hate, I swear.
Oh wait, is
Uh, Well,
Grim?
congratulations to you guys, and, I hope you guys continue to play well, of course, and, the Barons as well. Hopefully, they will rebound from this and come back strong in their next set. Thanks, Gumbo.
Yeah. Team man.
Alright. Thank you, guys, and that is the end of this.
Look, if you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 I can help you out.
I was angry before, but I circled the drain in my mind. I can't find. Don't let the sun go down. Don't let the sun go down. I was angry before, but I circled the drain in my mind. I can't find. Don't let the sun go down. Don't let the sun go down. Don't let the sun go. Let's go.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven. heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. My love, I'm gone. I need to be strong. The darkness it tried to swallow me. Some things I fall, but I hear your call. I pray I don't hit the ground. Gravity. 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 Gravity.
When I'm lonely in the dark, I know you are with me. Yeah. Don't you see that I need you so much? Don't you see that I love you so much? Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love. Oh na 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 na, oh na.
Hello, everybody. It's your boy Azzy, and we are coming back for the recast of Game 1 of the Kings, Barons, and the Meow Lovers. And unfortunately, Kumi had some, other things to take care of. So replacing him will be my friend and teammate, Red Sniper. How we doing, my friend?
Good evening, Adsy, and good evening, everybody else. Glad to be
Alrighty,
with you
folks.
tonight.
Of course, we're always glad to be casting games here in QSL. And my friend Red Sniper has not put up his stream in Discord, so I cannot see what's happening, unfortunately.
Give me like 10 seconds. So I had to reset things because when you go in between games, production's gotta, get things working. So
Well, as we're going here, we're taking a look at the picks and bans here. We have a Geb, Odin, Nike, Raijin, Soul on the side of Meow Lovers, and a Daji, Humbats, Loki, Tiamat, Ardio ban on the side of the Barons. And it's looking like pretty standard bans here. Pretty, I would say situational bans. With no CC immune ults on the Emoja and the Izanami, banning that Daji was a big pick, but they did get the Ares on the side of Meow Lovers here. And I'm assuming this Izanami was picked into the Ares, so I'm not entirely sure what the thought process here was. But we'll see if it works out for them, as it's looking like the Meow Lovers are going for the double Cthulhu game here, as along with the set for that insane backline dive. So we'll see how this plays out.
Your
yeah,
time
I am
has
currently
come.
catching up. So
And the
I
raw pick
apologize to all of you
of
who are watching this right now. But there we go. Okay, we are getting this together.
yeah, and the raw pick on the side of the Barons is quite interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ra with no movement ability. Although he does have speed and a slow immunity as a mage, it's pretty crucial to have some sort of movement in the kit. But this Ra has none, so we'll see how this works out on the side of the Barons here, as we hopefully get into the match relatively soon.
Face the crushing sands! Face the bitter winds of Niflheim!
Yeah, so Red, I know you're doing stuff, but as the just looking at the comps here, who are you favoring in terms of just pure just winning possibility here?
Honestly, I like both of their comps. You can see sort of this nice, almost front to back semi-team fight, but kind of the Dukes kind of have this schizophrenic understanding of how a team fight's supposed to go right now. You've got the Emoja that can zone, you've got Ra that can heal, you've got Ravana that can dive, Achilles has an execute, and Izanami just has pure DPS. The problem is they're all individuals. There's nobody that can really almost congeal or bring together a team fight. And so it's going to be difficult for the Dukes to actually have that capability to punish the entirety of the team of
Barons.
Barons. Barons, not Dukes. My bad. Sorry, Dukes are the majors. Barons are the
Yes,
minors.
Dukes are the majors. Yes. So, I will somewhat agree with you there. As the only real team fight ult coming out of the side of the Barons is the Emoja. And, looking at the side of Meow lovers here, I mean, you have the Ares ult, you have Mori who can turn into anybody, you have Cthulhu, which is like the biggest team fight ult in the game, and, turning into that Cthulhu again, and then you have Set for just single target DPS, and, just boxing one-on-one, so, I mean, personally, I think the Meow lovers comp is a lot better than the Barons. But we'll see how this goes. I mean, if they group up early, it could be a huge issue on the side of the Barons here.
Yeah, and you never know how it's going to play out because it definitely could go one way or the other because a lot of this depends on execution. Yeah, the Set is going to be excellent going, that single target DPS, but is he going to have enough CC around him to be able to bounce from target to target and punish? Because, yeah, Heimdall's got a pick, Ares burns beads, Cthulhu is just giant in your face and annoying 9 times out of 10. But when you're looking for where's the damage dealers, you've got a Heimdall, and you're probably going to lean towards that Set. And if you don't have enough CC on the rest of your team, it's going to be really difficult to make sure that those targets are engaged and killed all the way before you maneuver to the next one. And so that's kind of where, the Ra ultimate, the Achilles execute, if they can wear you down or jump on you real quick, the Barons can really turn a team fight before it even starts.
Yeah, no, I'm totally gonna agree with you there. I mean, honestly though, in my personal opinion, I just don't think there's any way to beat the Meow Lovers full combo of a double Cthulhu ult into a Set ult into an Ares ult. Like, I just don't think that there's a way for the Barons to even do enough DPS to shut them down. As Ravana being a full ability jungler and usually not picking up that Heartseeker until relatively late is going to make it quite hard for them to burst down, a double Cthulhu, who does a ton of damage, heals their team, has a knock up, and just does outright damage to the enemy team on his own. So, I mean, we'll see how that plays out as this game goes on.
Yeah, it definitely can be a huge difficulty for the Barons to be able to get that. But interestingly enough, we see, and this is something that you see as a big difference between maybe your casual games or your ranked games, but the start of the 3 where the crystal, getting that instant, making sure that you get the secure with the with your autos on the red buff, and then instantly transporting over to the purple to make sure that you are in lane as the ADC and ready to go, and you're already level 2 at the end of the first wave.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there, but surprisingly, unsurprisingly, I should say, they do lose pressure against an Izanami Yemoja, as, Yemoja just having that Omi, being able to spam abilities infinitely, and, that Izanami just hard clearing everything.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, that's going to be the thing with Izanami. The early pressure that Izanami brings is going to be very, very difficult for the Meow lovers to deal with early on. Heimdall, later on, has an excellent, excellent presence. His crits and his autos will smack. But early on, yes, he's got that little cleave in his autos, the automatic little one, but it's not going to be able to compete with Izanami.
Well, it's looking like they're out pressuring the Izanami Emoja dual lane here. It looks like they've done an excellent job of grouping up the wave, as the Heimdall falling extremely low here, but it looks like they will not aggress on it as they still opt to clear the rest of the wave. Ares out here doing a ton of damage for a Guardian compared to any other Guardian in the game. Maybe possibly Ymir or Bacchus being the only two to really compete with him. Is a great zoning device for stopping any early aggression here.
Yeah, and I think that was a very smart pickup. Yemoja, excellent in a little early game aggression, but definitely comes on later on with the team fight. But Ares kind of countering that as a Nami, kind of saying, if you're going to step up and try and deal damage, we're going to fight you back with the Ares early and then hit you with the Heimdall late.
Yeah, as it looks like this set goes into steal the speed buff at 2 minutes, and it's looking like the Cthulhu is hard aggressing onto this Achilles here as the set takes 2 tower shots, and the Ravana does blink in and will grab the kill with Prana Onslaught onto the set. So the set does get the speed buff, but will pay for his aggression as the Ra rotates all the way over into the soul lane, but the Cthulhu will get out as the Morrigan does look to rotate into the duo lane to try and kill this Izanami and Umoja. Izanami will get out, but the Umoja looking quite low here. Going back the other way, now going back through her portal as the sprint is popped to try and kill this Umoja. Umoja does force out a stun, but the Morrigan will pick up the kill, and a god like Morrigan is quite dangerous to get fed real early. Along with Set, as late game, she can absolutely one-shot people and just take someone out of a fight immediately.
Yeah, and, on top of that, she'll do it as the Set.
Wow, as the Morrigan transforms into the Ravana and will pick up the kill on the Ra. And that was like what I was saying before. Ra just can't really get away, as there is a solo kill by the Cthulhu onto the Achilles. And it looks like the Achilles took a tower shot trying to execute the Cthulhu and unfortunately missed. And that is what allowed the Cthulhu to pick up the kill there.
Yeah,
it's just looking like a... Oops, sorry, you can go.
I was going to say, just my perspective being, a duo lane main here. Interesting that both the Heimdall and the Izanami have both gone Devos and the Titans to start. Death's Toll to start. Not, at least from the last patch, not exactly something you would want to do. But every time an auto hits for the Izanami, you're gaining health, you're gaining mana. You don't have to worry about building, or being slow in your build at all now. And especially with now the Izanami getting the full Devo's Gauntlet, which has gotten cheap. It's really good for the price.
Yeah, it's right around, I believe it's 1,700 gold, right from the tier 1 into the full Devo's Glove. And it's looking like this Izanami is going to get it online about a wave earlier than this Heimdall will, as the Cthulhu is extremely low here, but he will get the back off, as the Achilles did try to go in, try and kill him there as he was extremely low, but he's safe back in his base, and unfortunately a missed opportunity as the Emoji ult does come out, but the Morrigan will go invis, and it seems she will get away as the stun does not come out, but it looks like a disengage here. But I mean, like I was saying before, feeding this Morrigan as the Set goes full in, and Set ult is popped as well as the beads there, and he's doing a ton of damage, and this Achilles looks like he he will not get out and die to the set one, as the Ares ult does come out, and he will pull the Ravana in. The Ravana does pick up the kill onto the Setback Cthulhu ult, doing so much damage here, as the Morgan will pick up another kill, as the actual Cthulhu does show up. And yeah, this Morgan getting a lead. It is now a level 8, 3-0 at 6 minutes. This could be quite devastating for the Barons here, as you know, the Ra's looking to aggress, but nothing will come out of it. Will be forced out by the Ares.
Yeah, and if you ask just about anybody who plays Smite, what's more annoying than having a Cthulhu in your game is having two Cthulhus in your game.
Correct, sir. Correct. Although, you know, this could be limited, you know, quite early in the game if this Izanami decides to go for the early Kins after an Xe, and you know, Cthulhu just having, you know, close to around 3,000 health at around 15 minutes or so. This Kins could do a lot of work, but you know, we'll see how this build path ends up going. And to go back to your Death's Toll point, you know, Death's Toll did get a buff this patch, patch day being today, of course, and you know, giving 10 extra power, allowing a lot for that early clear. As this Umoja is warding and looking for this red buff here.
Another solo
like
lane gank.
Brawl. Yeah, it's just a brawl over in the solo lane. This set's already back here, and it's looking like their plan is to really camp this Achilles and try and get him far behind, as it's disengaged over there in the dual lane, looking for the Scorpion though on the side of Barons, which they will secure. And you know, just back to the normal farming phases now. Yeah, so Red, on the side of Meow lovers, who do you think is really going to be important to run this game here? The Cthulhu or the Morrigan?
It's got to be the Morrigan with her flexibility. Having the Cthulhu as that tank, as that good front line to start, is going to be excellent. Now, Ares does damage but falls off, so he doesn't really zone effectively later on in the game. But at the same time, unless you build that amount of health or that amount of armor that you need, Ares can be a little bit squishy towards the end of the game. Once you have a Cthulhu, and then you have the ability to flex into, okay, a Beads has already been burned, we're going to burn another Beads with another Ares ult, and then Cthulhu's going to hop on top of them again. So
yeah, it's looking like the Ares is getting pulled in over here. The Emoji ult does come out, but he will die to the Ra, as it's looking like the Morgan will ult in this Cthulhu here after getting a pick onto the jungler Ravana, and it looks like it will be a disengage as the Barons are forced to heal under their tower in the Ra ult. But you know, that Morgan just kind of stacking her lead at this point in time. A level up on the mid laner, level 10, only even to the Izanami here. You know, it's just looking like this Morgan is really taking advantage of her ability to do a ton of damage early. As you can see, she's top player damage along with this Cthulhu, who's absolutely brawling, forcing out the ult on the Achilles and still following on the dash, as the Ravana will come in, try and pick up the kill here, as the Achilles will fall and is still being chased by the Ra now, and will pick up the kill onto the Cthulhu, which is a great kill for this Ra to even up the levels, as the Meow lovers are looking for Gold Fury here. And this is a great call by them, as they know that the Ra, their main secure on the side of the Barons, is in right lane killing Cthulhu. God bless you.
Sorry,
You
I have a
you
cough
alive?
button. I'm trying to use it, so thank you.
All right, it's all good.
But yeah, going back to your point, you know, they see the rotation happening onto the right-hand side, on the solo side. They know that the Ra is busy, the Achilles isn't going to be there anymore. You have to take the advantages that are given to you, and so they even out that pressure by taking gold on the left-hand side. You'll see later on in the game where, you know, teams will go for, you know, Fire Giant, and if you don't have a reasonable expectation of even fighting at Fire Giant, you know, you take Draugr, you take Gold Fury, you try and gather what resources you can to kind of mitigate the objectives secured by the other team. And with the Meow lovers there, they realize, oh, big rotation by the other team, let's grab an objective. They're going to leave this open, we'll walk through the door.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with you there. As we're taking a look down at the builds, and it's looking like this Morgan is going the old school Mori build with a Doom Orb first item, followed by a Spear of Desolation. I mean, I'm assuming a Poly will come out at some point. But as we look at the raw side, we see a stacked Book of Thoth and a Book of the Dead, which had recently gotten a buff and is now quite a great defensive item for these mages. And Ra being as immobile as he is, it's a great pickup for him.
Yeah, that's a necessity for him. That extra shield that he gets is crazy. I was seeing some stuff on PTS as
And
it
there
gets
it is
procced
right now.
there. Good grief.
That is his full HP bar back after losing half his health, but he still will fall to the set, as the set is just absolutely decimating the backline. But the Ravana will get a pick onto the Morrigan, as the Ares does finish off the Izanami, and it's looking like the Heimdall will finish off the Yamoja, and it's a 3-for-1 in favor of the Meow lovers, as the Ravana looking quite low here, and the actual Cthulhu Wolf does come out. And it looks like they will not attempt to dive this T2, as the Achilles is the only one to get away. And it is a 4-for-1 now in favor of Meow lovers. Looking at that gold lead, it's around 2,000 gold in favor of Meow lovers. Although not quite, quite a lot for the time, but it's still very easily reduced, as they're looking for this blue buff here onto the Achilles. The Achilles will ult out immediately to get away. Smart decision by him, as the Ares was rotating over as well, but it looks like they will get that blue for free, and they're looking towards the fire score. And yeah, I mean, it's just looking like the Meow lovers are farming slightly better than the Barons are at the moment. They're just taking all farm available on the map and just kind of taking away the option of even getting these backs and these buffs on the side of the Barons. So something's gonna have to change to try and figure that out for the Barons to really come back into this game, because once the enemy jungle's your jungle, the game's usually pretty easy at that point. So we'll see what happens as this game goes on, but so far a commanding lead on the side of the Meow lovers.
And it's not like it was a huge thing either. It's not like it was, yes, the team fight definitely helps, but it was the little advantages that got them to that point. Then they were able to turn the fight, and then they don't just leave it as a fight and go, okay, we're going to get the tier 1 tower, we're going to, try and grab something else. It was, let's clear jungle, let's make sure that we get these camps, because the camps are going to be just as important later on. That's free XP, that's free gold. As the Aegis does come out from the Morrigan,
yeah, and the Ravana
like we're gonna
quite
have
low.
Yep, we're going to have a little rotation coming through, but everybody's going to disengage. And now Donlin coming into the mid lane helps clear out the wave, relieves a little bit of pressure, and everybody's going to go back to farming, because again, going into that chart real quick, the XP difference and the gold difference in favor of the Meow lovers, 4k, about 4,500 XP, 3k gold difference, we're right around 14 minutes. So that XP difference is still going to be a significant issue for the Barons. Now, that is going to get less and less as the game goes on, but still having that XP lead right now makes team fights a very tricky proposition for the Barons.
As the Morgan and the Ares do tank a 1 there from the Ra. But, going back to that gold differential, you can see the jumps that they've made, as there is a full fight being engaged here, as the Morgan looking quite low, but will invis to get out, as the Cthulhu does dash in. But, it's just a little skirmish at the moment, as, Meow lovers looking quite split, as the Cthulhu does end up ulting into the entirety of the team of the Barons, and it's looking like the Emoja's, right at 50% HP, getting kind of low, as the Emoja ult does come out. But it's looking like the set is just free diving the backline here on this Ra, as the Ra is getting absolutely chased out by this set in the back, but the set will not fall right away to the execute. The Achilles does pick up the kill, as a big Ares ult comes out, and it will be a double kill for the Morgan, which again is quite huge, as Searing Pain unfortunately is missed by the Ra. And this Morrigan is just playing full assassin here, as he's going in and just absolutely decimating and doing a ton of damage to the backline. So if this Morrigan keeps rolling as she is, she's going to be extremely potent even further into the late game, which is where she truly excels, as the Cthulhu does dash in.
he dashes into 3 players, including a Ra and a Yamoja, and still ends up with over half his health bar.
Yeah, I mean, Cthulhu, just as ahead as he is, I mean, he's level 14 at the moment, which is just equal to the carries on the side of the Barons. So, he does have his T2 bulwark, and he has the full double physical defense online. So, he really doesn't take much damage from the Ravana or the Izanami. So it does make it a bit difficult for him to die at this point in time, and especially with his ult coming back up relatively soon, it's going to be really hard to kill him.
Now, something I would like to comment on that I'm not seeing here from the Meow lovers quite yet is, well, quite simply, where's the anti-heal? I mean, Pestilence looks like it's about to be picked up here, but there's a Brawlers, and that's it.
As they do secure the Gold Fury, they're taking it away from the Barons, of course, which is extending their gold lead to around 4,000 gold now, which is slightly, ever increasing at this point in time, if the Barons don't change their ways soon. But yeah, I will agree with you there. I mean, the Ra heals being extremely potent, as the Ra did pick up a Breastplate of Valor to give him some tankiness, but, it will take away from his late game damage, unfortunately, as the Ravana does ult out, and it's looking like he's 1 HP, and he is, as the Cthulhu does end up ulting. Yamoja ult does not save him, unfortunately, and this Cthulhu is just tanking the tower like, it doesn't exist with, his 3,000 HP, and unfortunately, the Izanami opted to go into a Wind Demon rather than into a early Kins, like I had thought. But as the sprint is popped and Curse Stomp comes out as well, and the set is just diving the backline, doing a ton of damage. He picks up the kill onto the support, as Rapid Carnation does end up falling here, but a return kill from the set, picking up the Izanami, and Cthulhu looking quite low here as well as the set, but I'm not sure if this Achilles can really do anything to either of them. I mean, 3-level gap between him and the set, 2-level gap, 3-level gap now between him and the Cthulhu. So Cthulhu falls quite low here, but Set does go back in, and he will fall to the Ra. Quite ballsy there on the side of Dummy Slick, but it looks like they will try and chase out the Heim and the Cthulhu all the way back to their tower, and will disengage, allowing them to back. So, a two for two right there. Not really in favor of anyone, in my opinion, but they do pick up the T2 tower there, extending their gold lead to around 7,000. So everything's just flowing in favor of the Meow lovers.
Yeah, you could tell that Dummy Slick was kind of feeling himself there, because even with that low health, he's like, well, I do enough damage, maybe I could get the pick, maybe we turn this if I get this kill, and there's almost this question of a break-even point. If you go in, what's the pro, what's the con? And up until that point, I mean, he's 4-3-5, now he's 4-4-5. It's not like it was a major shutdown thing, but he had just gotten a couple kills, he was on a roll, and by injecting himself there, he gives over an advantage to the Barons that they really didn't have to begin with. They didn't want to pursue that. They were just clearing out mid lane, and now looks like we're going to have another engagement.
Yeah, and it's looking like Pav's falling right around half HP here, but it's looking like he's going to disengage. Yeah, and like you were saying, though, maybe trying to kill that Ra, who's, 4-2 right now. Just to give himself some extra gold, like you said. He's not on, there's no shutdown, and it's not like he's worth a ton of gold compared to like the Morgan or the Cthulhu at this point in time. So I mean, I don't have a terror. I mean, I'm more indifferent to his decision there, as Cthulhu is sitting in the mist, as Yamoja ult does come out, and Heim ult as well through the realms forces the Yamoja out of the fight. And the Ares ult will grab 2, and he does grab the Yamoja, and it's looking like the Yamoja is extremely low here. Cthulhu does ult, and there were 3 of them there, so another Curse Dong does come out, and the Cthulhu's doing a ton of damage, and this Yamoja looking like she's not going to get away, and she doesn't, as the set is trying to dive this Ravana here, as the Ravana does go on his backline, and he unfortunately will not get away, as the Rod does do a ton of damage there. Will get the execute onto the Cthulhu. The second execute is blocked onto the set after the set takes out the Izanami, and it's in favor of the Meow lovers again. And, Meow lovers are quite low, but, not much you can do at this point in time. 2v4, regardless of how low they are, as they do drop the pyro in favor of, disengaging and coming back. But it's still a 2v4 at this point in time, as the Morrigan is still here doing a ton of damage. The Ares and Heim are also back, as the set does leave to go clear his speed buff, as there is an Ares ult coming out, will grab the Achilles. And the Achilles is, getting quite low here, as the Heimdall is absolutely chunking. And he does pick up the kill.
That was great follow-up. Donlin, knowing that Carnation pops the ultimate, the beads are already blown, his ultimate was already blown, it's gonna be a pull. He brings down the sword on top of him, hits him with the autos, and absolutely decimates the Achilles, as Searing Pain comes out one more time, and just off the mark. And it kind of seems to be a common theme here, where you see the setup, and then Searing Pain marks kind of missing him more often than not. He has hit a couple, but I don't know if he's trying to go for a snipe here and there, or if he's trying to look for something a little bit more safe. Maybe he needs to wait for the team fight and try and secure that. But it doesn't look like he's hitting the difficult snipes at this point.
Unfortunately for the Raw, there's really not much setup for his Searing Pain, as the Meow lovers do secure the Pyromancer there. Not much hard CC aside from, Achilles stun on the side of the Baron. So hitting 3 Raw ults is still relatively difficult compared to other ults, as this line is extremely tiny, as they're looking to pull the Fire Giant here, and they have it down to extremely low HP, as the Immortal does come out and is a great zone, forces them to drop it, and the Emoja does go in, as another Curse Stone comes out again, as the Ravana does pick up the kill onto the Heimdall, as Ares does ult and forces the Ravana out, but the set will pick up a return kill onto the Emoja, and now the Morrigan also picking up a kill onto the Ravana as well, and it's looking like the Ra is slightly out of position here, as he's still trying to chase down this Ares, as the Aegis is forced out, and it looks like he will pick up the Ares, but it looks like he will die himself to the set, as this set is just extremely tanky. He has Spectral, Blackthorn, and it looks like he's going into a Bulwark of Hope here. And, it's in favor of the Meow lovers. It is now a 3v2, and they are still constantly chasing, as this Achilles is going back in again. The set full dives the season on the backline here, and it's extremely low. Aegis has come out from both of them, as the Achilles is trying to 1v2, and, he's almost there, but it looks like he will fall to the Morrigan again. And like I said before, this Morrigan is now 8-1 and is already level 20.
Yeah, I mean, already level 20, has just about the entire enemy team on the ropes, is involved in 18 of the 24 kills. There's not much you can say other than the Morrigan has been played pretty stinking well by Sheru on this one. Really difficult for the Barons to try and come back, but I'm going to put you in the coach's seat for the Barons. At this point, you got a 6k XP difference, you got a 6k gold difference. How do you come back in this one?
Honestly, at this point in time, I don't even think Fire Giant is really a contest here, as, FG, before 30 minutes can still be defended against. You will lose your towers with 2T2s remaining on the side of the Barons, but I think you give up the FG here, you stop fighting, as Through the Realms does come out onto the Emoja, and it's looking like this Emoja is getting quite low again, and the Ares ult will come out, and the Emoja does end up falling, as the Ravana is in the back and will get absolutely decimated by the onslaught of the Morrigan, as the Guru ult does come out, as well as another Curse on. And it's looking like Cthulhu is in execute range, and he does get the execute onto the Cthulhu, which is quite huge, but he does have a 5% damage increase, as the Morrigan is already in the backline, decimating the entire enemy team, kills the Izanami, and it's looking like the Ra will fall as well to that Breastplate of Valor.
Every
through
time
that
I see
Book
that
of the
Book of the
Dead.
Dead proc, and I just see, I swear, he doubles his health bar and then some every single time it goes off.
Yeah, the Book of the Dead is extremely insane now with Book of Thoth being fully stacked. But you know, like I said before, I just don't think fighting there is the correct decision. I mean, you know, the level difference really isn't that great anymore. Even with the Izanami being just above the Heimdall by you know, 2 levels, which is quite a large difference. But that set having full Protector of the Jungle, being as tanky as he is, and you know, just full on diving that backline. And you know, no team fight ults, as well as very limited peel in the Emoja when she's being used to regress. It is pretty hard to team fight at this point in time, and personally, I think the Barons are just gonna have to focus on protecting from sieges, and I think that's the only way that they win this game.
Yeah, as we look across the map and we see that the mid-tier 2 is gone for the Barons, the tier 1s are cleared off the board, and with a Fire Giant buff, the Meow Lovers kind of looking around right now at what objectives are coming up. We've got Primal Fury not yet on the table. Oracles are going to be picked up by Cousin Eddie here, but, you know, Pyromancer and Primal Fury going to be spawning around the same time. Which one do you make a priority to go after?
Definitely the Primal Fury, as you know, the next Fire Giant will be EFG. So this Primal Fury increasing damage, 5% damage to that next EFG is quite a huge pickup for whichever team secures it. But the one buff that I am also curious if it was picked up or not is Draugr. You know, Draugr buffing your towers defenses quite heftily is you know, a pretty good pickup if they want to have a decent defense here on these T2s, or any defense at all, at least in my opinion. As the Meow Lovers are looking to siege these T2 towers down, it looks like they decide to give it up completely, as they don't have eyes on the set, which they are definitely most wary of, if that set is really messing up their backline. And it's looking like they will secure it successfully, and they go to pull the Pyromancer. See, on the side of Barons here, I mean, if possible, it doesn't seem like they have a ton of wards placed. I would have possibly gone to group and go for gold, but it looks like that's exactly what the Barons are doing at this point in time. They're setting up for it. This Cthulhu's already way out in the jungle trying to zone, and the Barons want no part of it.
Yeah, and that was actually a pretty smart thing by Gumbo, by ZKDM there, where he finds the choke point in the jungle. He knows that the lanes are pushed up one way or the other. He knows that that's not going to be where they're coming from. He's already got eyes there. So find that choke point in the jungle and just dissuade them from stepping out any further than their own green buff.
Yeah, and as they do take the T2 for free here, you know, we possibly could see a Phoenix Siege here, but with the backing of the Heimdall, oh, never mind. We could see a Phoenix Siege here with the double Cthulhu ult, as it is so easy to tank Phoenix's Cthulhu just due to your insanely high HP and the amount of protections that he has at this point in the game. So, you know, finishing off his full build. The Ares does walk in, though, as they do step in. Ares ult is come out, but he's looking quite low, as bees are forced, as well as Searing Pain. And it's looking like it's a disengage from the Meow Lovers. You know, they're kind of just hovering around that invisibility fountain there, and it seems like they're just waiting for a chance here.
Yeah, that was not a bad ultimate by Rapid there, making sure that he gets the beads of both the Emoja and the Izanami.
And there goes the
here we go.
Cthulhu, and here we go, double Cthulhu. My game is probably breaking, and you know, we just got this Heimdall in the back, just, you know, slowly autoing this Phoenix down. Now they have minions in there. This damage is now doubled, as the Cthulhu's just doing a ton of damage up there, as the Morgan is being chased down by this Ravana, and the Ravana will disengage after full kitting this Morgan. But the Book of the Dead proc is really doing wonders here for both teams, as the Morgan does get a huge shield. As long as with their E-stop, it is helping a ton, as the Ravana does pick up a kill onto the Ares. You know, Ares being, you know, no movement, it's quite hard to disengage when you want to, but they do lose a Phoenix for it. So regardless of that pick, it's still 100% a win in the favor of the Meow lovers.
And again, the slow there by ZKDM, the Cthulhu dropping that madness down, and just you know, just just enough of an annoyance. But it looks like he's gonna get caught. His rush is there, and that's gonna mean the death and the shutdown of the Morrigan.
Yeah, and Rush already being level 20. It looks like they will get the Cthulhu here with the execute. So great return kills on the side of the Barons here, and they did group up extremely well. Great communication there to chase that all the way down and force it out, as they're looking to take a Phoenix here in a 3v5. And it looks like they will see just Phoenix here. And it looks like they will get it for free for sure. And it looks like they're also continuing to engage in here, which I'm not sure why. I don't think they can end whatsoever, but it's looking like this Ace is extremely low. Out comes a Curse Donk, and the set does go into the back, and he will pick up a kill. His ult coming out, and he's doing a ton of damage right now, absolutely shredding the team on the side of the Barons. Everyone's looking extremely low here, as there is a triple kill coming out of the Meow lovers, and it is a triple kill and a double kill from the Set and the Heimdall. And it looks like they're just gonna run it down mid lane here, and they could possibly end the game.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain because they still got to get through that Phoenix, but it is about 30 seconds before anybody pops up. Kudos to Dummy Slick for getting the triple, and then Donlin with the double there. Beautiful defense on the siege line there, in their own Titan area. You kind of wonder at this point if maybe that was the smart thing to do for the Barons, was to push that far, but they've already got fire minions in. Here comes Donlin, that Heimdall swinging, and that's going to be the end.
Unfortunate for the Barons, but the Meow lovers kind of just ran that game, ending the game with a 12k gold lead. Not the worst stomps we've seen, but I don't think the gold really represented how dominant the Meow lovers were in that game. That Set with just his tankiness and the amount of healing he gets from his ultimate, adding to his tankiness even further, allows him to outtrade anybody, as well as just the Morrigan running that entire mid game by himself, with just the damage output and the double Cthulhu ult being so potent, um, for the Meow lovers. And unfortunately for the Barons, it just looks like that dual lane was absolutely shut down the entirety of the game. Izanami having a large ability to do a ton of damage, being shut down. She still did her thing and did a ton of damage, but just looking at that Cthulhu with that 32,000 player damage just shows the potency of that ult descending into madness. And it's just it's just a great team fight ult. He's able to impact the entirety of the team fight, just by pressing a single button, you know, healing his team, knocking up a few enemies, and just having two of those on, during a team fight is just unbelievably important for the Meow Lovers comp there. And although the Heimdall did not do a ton of damage throughout the game, he did pick up a couple key kills, during the game and towards the end there. Of course, getting that double kill after the Set had picked up that triple did lead to them ending the game. So great job from the Meow Lovers. And, the Barons played well, but like we talked about earlier, like you said, Red, it's just a lot of individuality here. Not much team fight impact, unfortunately. And, the Meow Lovers just had too much of that, in my opinion, which was obviously worked in their favor here. But, any thoughts on what the Barons could do to improve?
Yeah, I mean, obviously game one goes the way of the books, but in game two, I think the biggest issue is where's the setup coming from and where's the follow-up damage from that. Your setup in this game had to be from either the Yamoja, the root by the Raven, or some kind of stun out of the Achilles, but if you'd miss that, or since it's all relatively short range or pinpoint stuff, you're really only picking one person, and once you all detonate that one character on the other team, you don't really have much beyond that. Now the Izanami does get to, throw a little bit more, but even then, with the Izanami, you have a set diving the back line. Do you go for the engage or do you go for the peel? You got a Morrigan, and I gotta tip my hat to Sheru on this one, because at 11-2 and 11, it wasn't just the double Cthulhu play at the end. It wasn't just seeing the Cthulhu or the Ares show up or the beads burning, although the setup was definitely there towards the end of the game. But early on, he gets jumped on, he gets pushed, he gets moved, and what does he do? He doesn't just pick the
Yeah, I
same
understand what you're
person to
saying.
alt
So,
as.
I mean, a
He
lot of
goes
it
as the
is just
Raven, he moves as something else, and he
just a
does
lack
that
of setup,
damage.
unfortunately, on the side of the Barons, which did not utilize the full potency of a Ra. I mean, for example, if that Ares and that Yemoja were possibly switched, an Ares ult into a Searing Pain from Ra does a ton of damage to
Hmm.
whoever it grabs. So something like that could have been a better selection on the side of the Barons. But, just playing around more maybe team fight oriented gods rather than selectly pick gods or 1v1 gods could have been the play there. But, congratulations.
And that is going to be it for game number 1. For those of you who are live, thank you for being here. This will be the end of the broadcast for tonight. But for those of you who are watching on YouTube, stick around for game number 2. It'll be coming up right after this.